Also, I realize now is that sometimes your plan B is actually God's plan A for your life.
Put that on a t-shirt. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's another lesson also I came to learn in life. So what happened is all my life I would have plan A and I would be so dead set, this is what I want for my life. But all the time, it's not the plan A that comes out, it's the plan B. And now you realize in hindsight, which is always 2020, you realize, wow, that was the plan.
Yeah.
And that was the perfect plan.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Pulpit podcast. My name is Tracy and this is episode 23. Karibuni sana. I am very, very excited to be here. I'm excited for today's guest, but first things first, I hope you're following us on our social media platforms. Every single episode zinakuanga tu hapa chini. Kama unazionanga na unaignore, brother, I do not know why you're doing that to us. So please follow us. Follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Natuko X. But follow us on those platforms and then subscribe. Our subscribers are growing very well. I think right now we are at 500 and something. Someone should confirm that. But I think we've already hit 500. And that is exciting. I mean, we're only, how old? Barely 6 months old.
Yeah.
And it's oh God, it's so exciting. So yeah, subscribe, share this content with your friends. We have so much under our channel. So share whatever. Nice. Share whatever it is that you like. I think my personal favorite, apart from Beyond the Pulpit, is Our Soul's Delight, where we have Steve, Trevor, and Max singing. Every episode, an episode airs on Saturday. And they have a lot in store. So that's another personal favorite. So you can tell us what your personal favorite is by subscribing and following and just being there and whatever. Support us in any way. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. So yeah, today's episode is exciting. Before I introduce my guest, let me introduce. No, I'm not going to introduce him. He's going to introduce himself. My co-host Larry. Hi, Larry. No, wewe ni mwenyeji huku. Niaje buda?
Niko poa.
Uko fiti?
Niko salama.
Kabisa? Kabisa?
Niko conflicted.
Hizi t-shirt za red ziko nikali sana. Mimi nimependa.
Someone told me
on
Sunday
branding.
The red shirts look really good.
They really look good for sure.
Nilipatana na mtu wa branding akasema, nani mwatengenezea hizi shirts?"
Mwenye anatufanyanga branding. Wow, Emanuela, wow.
Ako like, zinakaa poa.
Zinakaa fiti. Sasa, our audience can also get a t-shirt by buying. Just text us on... Now, you can't DM us if you've not followed us. So follow us on Instagram or TikTok. We will get you a t-shirt at only 800 shillings. We have a lot of merchandise coming up, but first of all, get the t-shirts. Only 800. Preferred. Like, you can choose any color you want. You can even choose whatever color of logo you want. I mean, just support us as we grow. No.
Just say the size,
color. Your size, color, and your delivery. Where we can deliver.
Can they change? Ukisema nataka logo ya
hata ya pink. Ukisema unataka kuweka pink na red, hiyo ni yako. Wewe umetusupport. Hiyo si kazi yetu. Wewe ndio unavaa sisi zetu. We cheza with our own. And our
customers.
Like we cannot argue with our customers. We do not argue with you guys because tukiargue na nyinyi sasa tutagrowaje. Sawa. Si ndio? Our guest today is, we interviewed her husband.
So it's now a competition.
So it's a family. This is a family thing. It's a family podcast. We interviewed her husband. I don't know, sikumbuki ilikuwa episode gani. Na kama anawatch to text ni episode gani. Even though tutakuwa na evidence umewatch episode ya your wife. So we interviewed Anthony Mwanzia. Today we are interviewing Ruth Waithera. Ongeza kama if they hyphenate the husband. I don't know how they do it. Episode 9. Na tuko episode 23.
Wow.
That's kitambo. That's a while back. That's last year.
Yeah.
Yo. Okay. So today we have Ruth Waithera.
Yes.
She's someone I know your mom. Oh my God, I love your mom.
Wow.
Your mom is such a dear friend to my mom.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah. I know she's also going to be so excited to watch this. So
I know.
I'm excited to
actually she watches.
She watches.
Yes. So
Niambia. Mom. So she knows
Nice.
you're here?
No, she
doesn't.
doesn't.
Oh.
It's going to be a
This is
pleasant
this is
surprise.
going to be a
akona namba ya Silas.
beautiful surprise.
Ashaona.
Ashaona at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Ndo tunaanza kurecord lakini kelele ishapigwa. We thank God.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to have you here, Ruth. Thank you so much for honoring our invite on Beyond the Pulpit.
Yes.
Will you watch? Actually, hiyo siku tuki interview when we were having Mwanzia on set, you were
She was
somewhere
there.
behind the camera. So leo ni wewe, and we're going to do because it's your story. It's going to
Yes.
be different because it's your story. But
Sure,
now
for sure.
it's not going to be any different because we're going to talk about the same things. We're going to talk about your upbringing, your
Yeah.
salvation, your work,
Nice.
and everything. And we are not serious. Ulikuwa unasema in another world you would have been a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
This is your chance to showcase your comedy talent, and then our audience will tell you if you have a chance or not.
If you have a chance or
If
not.
you have a chance or not in comedy. So feel free. Be as free as you want. Talk
Thank you.
to us about anything
Yeah.
that you feel you want to. Ongea kutoke. I don't know if
Eh.
people are still using that statement.
We mzee.
Honestly, I
Tuko
wouldn't
February.
know.
I don't know if people are saying ongea kutoke, but ongea kutoke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mimi ni Gen Z, but kidogo tabia zinakuanga kama za boomer.
Baby boom.
Baby boomer. Yeah. So karibu sana Ruth. Let me give you this chance to introduce yourself.
Thank you so
Introduce
much.
what you do. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tracy Ann, for the opportunity. I'm deeply humbled, even for a chance to share my story, my thoughts, my reflections, my ideas about life. Yeah, I'm really grateful. So to introduce myself, I'm Ruth Waithera Mwangi. No hyphenated, no change of name. In the few socials I'm in, like WhatsApp, maybe you'd see Waithera Mwanzia, but I still have my is it not maiden, the
Surname.
name, my surname, exactly. So I haven't changed. I don't plan to change, to be honest. Yeah, so I think that's it. Born again. I love the Lord, and in this life I can say there's something that has really kept me. It's just knowing God. It's yeah, I should do that.
Everyone should do
Yeah,
that.
everyone
No
should
Christ.
do that. Yeah, I should. Yeah.
Kama hakuna
No
kitu ingine
Christ.
utatoka nayo kwa interview.
Nothing is important.
If nothing
Yeah,
else she says.
and the older I get, the more important it becomes. Other than that, I'm firstborn of 2 kids. I have a younger brother. Some of
Shout
you
out. Shout out.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we are really like good friends and everything, but people actually don't know we have a big gap between us. Yeah, so I'm 7 years older than some. But if you see him and you see me, you'll be like, he looks older.
He looks older than you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Kahawa West. Back then, Kahawa West was a small town. Squeezy, it's a whole metropolis.
Really?
Yeah, but
Wow.
it was, 6, unaambiwa ukue nyumbani by 6 because utapotea. And it's true because when you moved to side, that was maybe early 2001, side ya Jua Kali, our house was among the last that were built. So uko nyuma ilikuwa kichaka. Yeah.
The current
Yes, the current place we
nyuma
stay.
ilikuwa kichaka.
Like after the 3rd row,
Hiyo
all
yote.
side, the only other place that was built was Bima Road, Adi Millennium, Adi kwa Wageshomo.
Yeah.
So for those who are new, maybe to Kahawa West, kwa
Hata kuna watu
Wageshomo.
our audience
Yeah.
don't even know.
Yeah, you.
I'm not new, but kwa Wageshomo.
Yeah.
Most of our audience
So
probably
it's
are not even
interesting.
from
Back
Kahawa
then,
West, yeah.
so that Kahawa West was a small town. It used to be, the landmarks were people's houses.
Yeah, kwa
So,
Wageshomo.
yeah, kwa Wageshomo. Or kwa mwalimu, or unajua kwa daktari, like, yeah. Anyway, so about my upbringing, I mean, I feel so blessed, how I grew up, how my mom and my dad, they raised us. Yeah, my mom actually raised me and my bro. So we got that privilege.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful because there are so many things also that she taught us about life and family that have carried with me. So I went to Marion Preparatory School. Back then, Marion was the school to be. These days it's KBA. Shout out KBA. Yeah, but Marion was the school to be. So I went to Marion, went to high school, Pangani Girls, then went to campus. So that I will come back now to that whole journey later. Yeah, but I think one of the things that I realized early on about myself is that I liked to read, and I liked to tell people about what I'd read. So I like to share a lot.
Oh, like
Yes.
storytelling or
No,
just sharing?
No, just sharing, like telling people what I've read. And I realized also earlier on that because of that now, our system, our Kenyan system, the way it is, now it's you morph into like a good student. So you do very well in school, like that. But the thing is, I also realized I'm quite curious about life. Like I just like to know stuff. Yeah. So that's how I grew up. And yeah, I think my dream job or my dream career would be, I always tell people, if I was to, read, do exams and pass and be paid for it, I think that's my dream job. Anything.
Passing exams.
Passing. That's a dream
Like
job.
The dream is to study and do exams and get paid.
That's it.
For what you've
getting
earned.
paid. Anything.
Really? You do that?
I'd do that for a job.
To be paid for exams?
Like, to study, not to be paid to do exams for people, but study whatever it is I want to study, then
Sit
do
for an
exams,
exam.
pass, and then be paid. So I think
Like
for
you
me,
do that for a
was
living.
my
Like,
dream-
I'm shocked.
That would be my dream job.
Because you do it so effortlessly. You're
Yes.
smart.
No, but it's not.
trying to
Yeah,
say
she's
If I
smart.
do say so
She's-
myself,
she's
no,
just
saying.
that I think it's just that curiosity to want to know stuff. Has been something I've had for all that time, for all my life, I can say. Yeah. So that's the first question. I hope I've answered.
it so well.
It's not the first question. Okay, no,
you've
it's
done
not that
it so
there's
well.
a list of questions. Yeah, but I got born again also. Born and raised Kabes Baptist. My mom brought me to church. But actually, I can say I really, really became serious when I went to high school. Yes, because this time you just go as a practice, like your mom takes you to school,
Yeah.
your
You're going to
parents take you to
church.
school, you go to church.
Yeah.
But when I got into high school, I actually got serious. I remember I read the Bible like from cover to cover when I was in high school.
Oh,
And
Genesis 1
yes,
to
all the way to Revelation. And that, like, completely, one thing I realized is, this thing is real. This guy is serious and he plays for keeps.
Really?
Yeah, so for sure, that's I can say the pivotal moments of my life is now really having that deeper understanding of God through high school. And then after high school, I went to campus. So another thing also interesting is that I actually did not, the course I went to do in campus was a course I was called for. But it's not the course I chose.
Oh, you
Yes,
never chose
which happens to people a lot.
a lot.
I don't
Umechagua
know.
engineering, umeitwa medicine,
Right?
umechagua
Yes.
education, unaitwa
So,
nursing.
I think when you're asked, what do you want to be when you grow
Yeah.
up? You want to be a doctor. So I always wanted actually to do medicine and become a doctor. So when it came to choosing, it's the only, I didn't know this thing of at you choose these days, what wako na career,
First.
expo, sijui, you're told at you have first
Advisor.
choice, sijui second choice, whatever.
You didn't
So,
have that?
No.
Like
I
first
just
selection,
chose-
second selection?
We had,
Oh.
but I was so dead set on my mind the course I
Medicine.
want to do. So I chose it as the first
There was no
choice.
plan B.
There's no plan B. And another thing also I realize now is that sometimes your plan B is actually God's plan A for your life.
Put that on a t-shirt. Waithera. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's another lesson also I came to learn in life. So what happened is all my life I would have plan A and I would be so dead set, this is what I want for my life. But all the time it's not the plan A that comes out, it's the plan B. And now you realize in hindsight, which is always 2020, you realize, wow, that was the plan.
Yeah.
And that was the perfect plan. Yeah, so the thing is, when you don't get your plan A, see, they give you other options. So that's what actually I got called to study in school, in campus, which was biochemistry. Yeah, so
medicine, akaenda biochemistry.
and actually when the results came out, I can say the time after high school also, it was one of the lowest moments of my life. And the reason is that I saw the results and I had passed, but I calculated on the spot and I knew I've missed. Because actually with the aggregate point, I missed med school by 0.5 or 0.5 over point.
Kuna exemptions surely.
And exceptions ni para, but who's affording para? So I was so low that day because I realized my plan was now my life is over. So I really was, everyone is celebrating, you passed, you've done so well. But the fact that I could not do my plan A, I was really, So you also realize this system of you go to school because you're raised in Pango, you just read, study, get that A. After the A,
so moment.
You realize that as in that rat race of I'm getting born, I study, I pass, and then once I get that grade, my life is now good.
Yeah.
Now you come out to these streets
Kwa
and
ground.
realize
ground.
Yeah, so Larry, you are asking me.
You said you ulikuwa na low moment but still umepass. So your parents weren't like, mbona umekasirika na
Yes, they
umepass?"
were.
Just anyone.
Yes,
Especially
everyone.
kama
So
Sorry.
ile
get
siku
it.
results
Sasa
imetokea. I can imagine.
Nini
Oh,
huyu
ni
sasa?
nini?
Na
Yeah.
imagine siku ya results when I think back then ile ulikuwa na text
Text.
and it's your mom's phone maybe.
Yes.
Results zimekuja, your mom is celebrating,
I
calling
know.
your aunties, your dad is calling sijui who, everyone is
Exactly.
celebrating. You are sad.
I was
On
sad.
such a joyous day for you, you are
Exactly.
sad that you've missed medicine.
Yes.
Wow.
I was sad because I think it's
Those are beautiful sadnesses.
Yeah. So ulikuwa unaambiwa say, I
That's
can
such a-
explain. I can
I
explain.
can
I
explain.
can explain why I'm sad. Yes, I
Yeah.
have gotten maybe this A, but I wanted medicine.
Right?
Nataka
It's-
A ya
nilikuwa
86,
nataka
si
A ya
84.
medicine, si
Yeah.
A ya- kwanza ni 0.5. 0.5.
So anyway, fast forward, I go into campus. Actually, my first year. So I felt so cheated, so lied to, because you feel all my life I thought this is how it works.
Yeah.
Then you go to campus and realize it doesn't work like that. The regular living in shoddy hostels, like smelly shoddy hostels. You really wonder like if only my parents had money, I would have done the course I wanted and stuff like that. But so biochemistry basically is like you learn about like the chemistry of life, like how life happens. You study now the chemical side of it, and it's highly abstract. Like it's a very abstract science. Like you draw a lot of structures. Unakumbuka chem, hizo structures are chem.
Ninazikumbuka.
Unazikumbuka.
Relatively.
It's okay. That's enough.
Just figures.
That's all
I
you
can
need.
see
That's
figures
it.
in my head. That's all.
That's
it.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. And my first year actually was difficult for me because I felt, you feel like the system doesn't work, you've been lied to. And so I actually didn't do very well in my first year.
Oh, you hadn't settled
I'd not
on
accepted.
this is
Correct.
not what I wanted to do.
I've not accepted.
Yeah.
But now after second year, third year, I actually came to love it. I even came to realize I probably would not have made a good doctor. Because
Why?
also I think my heart, I see a little blood, I'm just
Same.
my heart just,
Wounds, vomit, puke.
Yeah, I think the science behind is what really intrigued me, and it's what I got when I got into BChem. So at least I finished BChem in 2016. Isn't exaggerated. I realized that's a long time ago. It's
2016.
It is.
It's almost like 10
It's
years.
It's almost 10 years. A
Correct.
decade.
Yeah.
Say it as a decade, and
It's
then
a
you'll feel like
it's a decade.
It's a while back.
Yeah, it's a while back. Yeah. So okay. Generally, biochemistry is broad, but the two most common outcomes is either you end up in the side of research or lab work, quality assurance and things like that, which is what we did even kwa attachments when we were doing those attachments, because I did my attachment in KEBS and a place called Kari in Ruiru, the Coffee Research Institute in Ruiru. Yeah, so you can end up on that side or you can end up on the side of sales and marketing, which is the side I ended up. And it was by accident, actually.
I have
it
a
was
question.
always a coin flip. Yes,
I have a
please.
question before you proceed.
Yes.
I don't think I've understood what biochemistry is. Or you said it's the chemical of life and all of that. I
Yeah.
don't think
Kama
So,
kwa
I
scientist.
don't think
Yes.
nimeelewa
It's
nini
science.
umesema.
Ni science.
And then
So-
mention coffee research, so I'm like, what are you doing in coffee research?
Yes.
If you're doing
So-
about life.
Think about, see, but the coffee, coffee
Coffee
they're
has
dead.
life. Wait,
See
you
the
even
plants. Yeah.
Like if it's research,
Life.
it's research about everything. Animals,
Everything.
plants.
So kama ni biology, hizo
Yes.
mazui Panthera, what?
Oh,
Yes.
so
you
intro.
search,
Oh,
you-
bio.
unaweka chemistry.
Just for your
Biology.
biology high school.
Oh.
So bio
You didn't
is
do
life.
bio in high
I
school?
didn't do bio.
It wasn't
High school
compulsory?
gani
No.
yenye si compulsory?
Chemistry was compulsory.
Chemistry was compulsory.
Yeah, bio wasn't.
Interesting.
So I did physics
Which
to
school
avoid
is it?
biology.
Wow.
Nisichinje frogs.
Oh, that was a logic.
That was my logic behind. I don't even have a deep
Nice.
reason to
I've
answer.
never actually
You see-
had a school that biology
You
wasn't
see the way you said
compulsory.
that blood freaks you
Nisichinje
out.
frogs.
For me, that's
The
I
thing.
cannot
See?
stand dissecting animals and
Interesting.
saying they're inside. Oh. No,
Interesting.
No, thank you.
Actually, you just reminded me. So let me explain what biochemistry is, and then you've also reminded me that period. Now when it was coming to go to campus, my dad was actually really pushing me to do engineering.
Which one?
So to do, I think it was mechanical or something. So we start. The reason is, so he felt like, I loved physics. I just loved science as a subject. So I loved physics. I loved bio. I loved chem. I loved them all. I did also agriculture. Fun fact.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was and geography. Oh, I love geography. Oh my god.
Okay.
It was,
You love
Hey,
school.
kuna
Wewe
mtu
ulipenda tu shule. Juu zenye unataja.
Right. Yeah, honestly, it's not difficult. Like, it wasn't difficult for me, and that's something I really
You didn't
also-
struggle in school?
I didn't struggle in
I
school.
mean, you
Aren't
said,
you-
you've said you'd get paid.
Aren't
to do
you
exams.
lucky?
I didn't struggle in
Oh,
school,
wow.
even campus. Like, after I just accepted, I didn't struggle with
really?
it. Even after after campus, like the course that I did even afterwards, I didn't struggle with it. Like, I don't struggle with it, to be honest. It's not a struggle I have.
Lucky people.
Now,
Lucky.
now the thing is, so my dad was not understanding why I'm getting, I'm pissed, like I didn't go to med school, and he's like, you can do eng, you can do, like, you're good in physics, you've got the grades, so why not do eng? And I almost went to do eng, actually, but the thing is,
He almost convinced.
the life aspect, the life things that are living, like, I just felt in my mind it was a dead
engineering is a dead
it was a
course.
dead science, like,
Does
not
it- wow.
dead, like, not at to bash it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a dead science, like, there's no life, like, the living part.
just
Yeah, but of course
machines
these
and
days with
whatnot.
AI, maybe
It's living.
it's alive. Yeah, this thing is alive. So anyway, so biochemistry, if I would explain it, is like the science of life. Anything that is living is a communication within it between cells, and inside the cell there is communication between this type of a cell, whatever, the thingy inside, and the communication, like, through enzymes, and it's a whole chemical reaction. Like, anything that lives is just full of chemical reactions and interesting things, like the way enzyme, like the Nobel for 2024, the guys who won it is because of, proteins, like, they use the AI to discover, like, the shape of proteins, which has been like, to predict the structure of proteins, which has been like a big thing. No one has been able to do it, like, to predict it. So, things like that, like, you just learn, like, life is amazing. Another thing also, people think scientists don't believe in God. I think studying science made me believe in God. Like,
Even more.
there is no way this thing can just occur.
Without.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Without any intelligible
Yeah.
being.
The big bang.
Big bang
Milky
theory.
Way.
It takes more faith to not believe in God than it does to believe in God.
Yeah.
For sure. So it's basically that biochemistry is the science of life. Now you go deep. The structure, you draw, the bonding, the chains, the reactions. Like, before something like DNA it's such a complex and intricate structure. You learn about, how the body creates the chemicals, like something like insulin, for example. You learn why do people have diabetes, why do people type 1, type 2. Then you learn now about insulin, how it's made in the body. Then you draw it now.
Then you draw.
Yeah.
You draw insulin.
Yes, as a structure. So that's an example now.
Okay.
So it's a very
would have
abstract science, but it's so beautiful in the way that, like, it just makes you see life in a different way. You appreciate the detail. You just see the beauty of life. And for me, it made me believe in God for sure. He exists. Yeah. So I was talking about also the ways it can fall now. Yeah. So with that kind of knowledge, you can go into researching, drugs, diseases. So even pests, plants, everything, diseases, you can go on that side.
Oh, like this.
Just a disease, madawa, even chemicals actually that are used by people. From oil, plants, everything. Like you can go into that side, or you can go to the side of sales and marketing, where now you go to the commercialization aspect of drugs and other things. So it's wider. Biochemistry is wider than just drugs, or than just think about any single thing that is relating to human beings and the science now behind it. So you can go to sell, market drugs. Actually, it's a common joke among biochemist guys that they're the ones who do med repping and those kind of jobs. Med rep, medical representative.
Yeah. Oh.
So you market drugs. Yeah. So that's a common joke.
Lazima niende shule.
Lazima, hiyo lazima. Yeah, so interesting. Okay. How I ended up in sales and marketing.
I'm really curious why you didn't end up in research.
Interesting.
And
sales. That was the plan actually.
That's what
I really wanted to
after
do.
4 years.
Yes, I really, and you see, even a good number of my classmates, I can count like maybe 10 of them went ahead. They did master's, PhD. Now they are in Cambridge, ILRI, wherever. But I think 2 reasons. Number one, it's because of where I landed when after campus. And number 2, also, I felt like the lab also, as much as you work with people, especially when you start managing now teams that are doing the research, I felt it was like me, I wanted to interact with people a lot.
Okay.
So I felt like in a limit kidogo your interaction with people, because now you're basically working in the lab work. Analysis, essays, things like that. So I felt like it a limit your interaction kidogo. Yeah, but this other side now, what happened, it's quite interesting. So my first job, how I got there, was through it was like an internship program. Sasa what happened is, when I was in campus my last year, kulikuwa na hizi adverts, this, they're called like management trainees, future leaders. They have fancy names in these big multi-nut companies, but basically it's like an intense internship. So there was an ad, and this is among the lessons now I also learned, is that you, like, every day, the courage to dare to dream, to dare to do something, to apply, is really all you need. Like that, the courage, every day to wake up and just try. Like you if you don't try, you don't know. If you never try, you never know, because you might look at the chances. They say, what are the chances? Yeah. What are the odds? Yeah. But it's still infinitely greater than if you didn't try. And every day where there is life, there is hope, I believe. Every day, don't give up. Just try. Try and trust God. Because what happened when I was in my last year, there was this ad that they used to, like, sometimes even in the paper, kwa newspaper. That's how you know it was a long time ago, if at all ads were being put in the newspaper. Yeah.
That's a while back.
It was, I think, even LinkedIn. I don't think
LinkedIn exists.
I didn't know. I wouldn't know. So anyway, the thing is, there was this ad for this internship program at GSK. That's where I did my first job. I got my first GlaxoSmithKline. So it's a big British conglomerate. It's a big pharma, basically. A big pharmaceutical company. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice.
A big pharma.
A big pharma.
Like, pharma.
They're called, so in the world of pharmaceuticals, there are those like companies that are like the big, it's like saying maybe in technology, you say Apple and Google and,
Microsoft.
so in the world now of pharmaceuticals, there are those companies now. And it's so interesting because I didn't own a laptop then. So what happened is I borrowed, all of us in our class, we applied for that internship. And I borrowed a classmate of mine, her laptop to apply.
All of you?
All of us, we applied. Like each person applied in our class. And the thing is, she told me, you need to apply too, but these things, they get 2,000 applicants and they only take one person. So, you're
just applying it for the sake
of just for the sake.
Just for the sake of it.
And it was the first job I applied, actually. And we all applied. And then I got called for the phone call. Kwanza, it had like 7 interview stages. My dad even at some point was like, guy, is this the military? Like, what's going on? What's going on? So, after every stage, it's like you get called. There's a phone call interview. Then, there was online assessment. I don't know why they do that.
Right?
It's online. It's like kupima IQ. You see this online assessments. Many jobs even these days.
What do they call them?
I saw. What are they called? Why do they do that though? It's
aptitude
strange.
test.
Yes. That, and then they call you. And then there was a physical interview. There was a group interview
interview with other interviewees or
with other interviewees. So they put you in a room, like 5 guys. You're interviewing for the same job, and then they give you like tests. They come out, they interview you. They give you like a series of to see how you work in a group, how they ask you questions,
teamwork
things like that. It was so strange.
7 steps is daunting.
It was so daunting by the and then after that there was another face-to-face interview, and every time I would be called and be, now you're proceeding to the next level. You've proceeded. I'm like, alas, so strange. Proceed. And until now, the 7th interview was the final interview with the general manager then.
Did you know it was the final?
Now,
me
nilitokea tu. Then to realize we were 20, then 15, then 5, now we are 2. And it's the last interview. And I was like, why? Even to get there, I was like, okay. What are the odds? Now, at some point in those stages, I felt they're not even looking, because it was entry level. We didn't have any kind of experience.
Yeah,
it was beyond experience. It was like they're looking for a particular kind of person. Even the questions they would ask, you wonder, hizi maswali unauliza ni personal, unajua?
Mbona mna
get personal na ni kazi. And so, after that last interview, I actually came to learn it was an internal, like the other person was an internal person.
The other person who
the
you
other
thought
candidate.
Was an interview?
No, so we were 2 at the end. Then they were to pick one. And the other person who was it was the 2 of us now who had remained, was someone internal. Like,
was already working at GSK?
Yes.
Oh.
So I was like, what are the odds? Like, there's no way you're
getting it.
And now, to be called the last day, I was like, hey, congratulations. I'm like, hala.
What do you mean?
Of all the 2, and that's why I realized, of all those 2,000 people, kumbe it was me. It was mine. And
awesome.
I was so, as in, it was such a wild experience for me. It was a wonderful place. I mean, I got to learn so much. Now that's how I ended up in sales and marketing, because basically now it was commercializing the product. Now once you get the product. So I went through the internship, did my first job as a sales and marketing person, called a med rep. Now I would go and increase awareness for the brands in pharmacies. After that, I did key account management, which is basically you're told, okay, these important clients now, this group, you're the one who will be dealing with their issues and tenders. And then, I worked there for around 7 years. So I got to learn the foundation now of sales and marketing in pharmaceutical space. I really got it from there. Yeah.
So GSK, I think a lot of people know GSK. I know GSK for Panadol.
Yes, correct. So actually, so they did eventually split the side of Panadol. It now became its own company. I was in the side of the drugs now, the likes of maybe some brands like Augmentin.
Oh,
Yeah, they have
Augmentin.
like even Zinat then before they sold it. Those are the kind of brands that we would go and market. And it's really about, like, I can say in the simplest terms, sales and marketing, it's like creating awareness. It's really morphed these days with in social media and the internet, which, okay, maybe that one will be a discussion for another day, because I also have strong feelings about how things are done these days. But I think it's really about creating awareness, but also a relationship in someone's mind between their need or even their want, because sometimes they're not really all needs. You create that need. So you want to create that relationship between your brand and the mind of the customer, for them to like, for it to be a perfect match. Show them of all the things in this earth, ours fits you the best. And
So
this
you
is
like
why.
show them why they should choose you. not them.
Correct.
Alright.
Yeah, and you're creating that association in their minds. And sometimes it's not even a brand, it can even be a certain color. Like it's very interesting now, having studied. So I landed sales and marketing first. Let me not lose the plot. I landed sales and marketing. So it was by chance. Like if I got into a research institution, I'd probably have continued master's, PhD, because I also thought it was quite interesting. But now, because of getting the internship, I just came. I landed into the world of pharmaceuticals, and I landed now in sales and marketing. So now I started marketing after the fact. So I did a diploma, the CIM. Have you heard of CIM?
No.
CIM, it's like professional papers for marketing. Where, because my undergrad was in science, I learned marketing on the job.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you have really no professional papers on marketing.
Correct. Then,
Okay.
so I actually learned everything from scratch. And
On the
actually, I think
job.
that's one of the best ways to learn.
Yeah.
As much as, you need experience,
Yeah.
all the places you try to apply or get into, they tell
School
you.
is just theory.
But the truth is, when you learn, it's like when you learn something backwards, you learn it
even better.
than if I was to do my undergrad in marketing, I don't think I would get it the way I get it now.
Now, yeah.
Yeah. So afterwards, now I did some papers. So I did level 4 and level 6. So it's like a diploma, basically, in
Higher
marketing.
diploma?
A higher diploma, correct.
This CIM bado.
CIM. So CIM is Chartered Institute of Marketing, Institute of Marketing. So what they do, they basically, it's like worldwide, but they have like colleges and study centers that they have partnered with.
All over the world?
Yes, all over the world. It's a UK accreditation
Okay.
for marketing. It's like professional papers, the way you do CPA or
ACCA,
ACCA.
yeah.
Those kind
okay.
of. Yeah. So by studying marketing now, I got to understand it.
When did you
even-
study this marketing? How many years after getting the job at GSK?
Oh, it was maybe the 6th, because I worked there for around 6 years, thereabout. So the 2021 and 2020, COVID, the time of COVID. Yeah, so we switched to online classes, but the whole of 2020 and 2021 is when I studied marketing. I can say studying marketing made me understand what marketing is, but what it is not. So there's a lot of maybe ideas that people have,
Yeah.
like they think billboards,
Yeah. Really.
TV ads.
Yeah.
But that's just, it's a drop in the ocean. Like it's such a wild, it's an art and it's a science as well. And there's like, everything is so purposeful and everything. It's now morphed into a tool, and it's always been like that. I think now with social media, it's amplified. It's augmented the manipulation aspect of marketing, because it really is, there's there's a way, there's a manner in which it can be seen.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, and for sure, every industry, there's the good side and there's also the underbelly of it, like because also the misconceptions with pharma companies, people say, these big farmers, they just they profit off people getting sick and make a lot of money. Yeah, because it's business at the end of
It's
the day,
business.
but it's medication, and there are people's lives also attached to this medication. So yeah, I can say now, studying marketing, you realize the associations that people make, they are very, it's like you cannot predict. Ni kama the people who write hit songs, like by the time maybe let's say Diamond or who, like there's that
Diamond is
science.
it's
So random.
So random.
I know. Okay, or whoever. But by the time, like it's almost like a prescription of what will make a hit song. Yeah, and you do it over and over and over again. So I mean, it's quite an interesting science. I think you also realize the associations people make in their minds, you cannot really predict, but there's a way you can go about it to make sure, like it's almost certain that they form that association. I really follow, I'm an enthusiast, I like of now like marketing. I just find it interesting, as a science. There are brands that do it very well, and there are brands that don't do it very well. So find some campaigns, you criticize.
There's some marketing campaigns, you see them, even billboards.
You don't even understand what's going on. Like,
so what
why?
are you advertising exactly? Are you advertising the lady? Are you advertising
what's
the
the
brand?
message?
Is it a house?
You need to understand what you're selling, and you understand the product, and you need to understand who you're selling to. So there are wide range. Something like Safaricom, for example, is like the customer base can be anyone who would own a phone. So it's wide, like their customer base is wide. Things
So they
like
do not have
cars,
a specific target
correct
audience.
And that's why you would see even their ads and everything, they try to capture like a wide audience. But something like, let's say, trucks have their audience, like when they're advertising that, it's not you or me, or there is a particular audience. So you need to understand what you're selling. And as I was telling you, like I also came to realize what people think they are selling, or like someone would think pharmaceutical business, we sell and market drugs, which is true. But the actual business, like when you go into distribution, so in sales and marketing, you raise awareness of doctors, because you cannot talk to market to a patient directly. So you trying to raise awareness of doctors on why your product or brand is the best for their patients.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So your target audience is doctors and pharmacists and
people in the
medical professionals, to make sure that they choose you as for their patient other than another one. Now, when you come to distribution, which is now the second job that I did. So my first job was on that side of pharmaceutical, and that's why it's such a wide business. So on that side of the pharmaceutical business, you're trying to create relationships and friendships, let's say, or trust, to build trust with doctors. For them, now the customer is the doctor, not the end user.
Not the patient.
Now the other side, so the second job I did operations and business development at a pharmaceutical company, which is in distribution. So it's like a supermarket. It's like Naivas.
Oh, but your drugs.
Yes.
Medicine. Let me not
Correct.
say drugs. When
Drugs.
you hear drugs,
The
someone
good
will think
kind.
of cocaine.
Yeah.
The good kind. She's winking. She's winking at the
Don't do
audience.
drugs,
The good
please. Don't do drugs.
Oh,
Drugs
wow.
are not.
It's drugs, Panadol.
Yeah.
Hizo zote akina mara moja.
Yes.
They're helpful.
The good drugs.
The good. The
No,
prescribed.
but they can
drugs.
also be abused. I think
Oh,
drugs.
yeah.
They're also abused a lot.
Okay, let me. I was heading right there. Do you know I was last years old when I knew that codeine is
Yes.
cough syrup.
Yes,
I knew about it last year.
There's one. Okay, I don't want to mention drugs here in case I'm sued.
Yeah.
But
this
they are
is for
actually the
educational
considered.
purposes.
for
educational
educational
purposes.
Yeah,
There's
like
another
even codeine, even this. This is it methadone, or there's a drug like this drugs, even the oxycontin, like the opioid crisis in US.
Nimezisikia
Those are all like drugs. Like by the time a drug is hitting the shelf, like all these companies have developed it for a good reason, but there's no
Okay,
drug
it is
that
a painkiller?
cannot. Yes, it's a painkiller, but for sure there's no drug that cannot be abused. Like anything that's, if you use a drug outside its pharmaceutical purpose,
yeah.
you are abusing it.
Uh-huh.
So if it's Panadol, the way people, and I do this also, so I'm saying myself, to sleep. You're abusing it.
When I have those sleepless nights, you're like,
yes,
listen,
let me take Piriton to sleep.
just
It's
one.
abuse.
Yeah, I'm not
Exactly.
an addict. And that's how you defend yourself. I'm not an addict. I'm just,
So when you remove it outside, it's abusing. So now when you come to distribution, you realize now the game changes slightly. It's not selling drugs, it's a logistics business. So it's about like your audience changes. So it's not a knowledge, like I would say a pharmaceutical company, for example, is in the knowledge business, because it's like you're selling the knowledge and the science. So you're really not selling the drugs. You're trying to use the knowledge and the science of the drug to build a trust with the doctor to write that for their patient. But now in the distribution business, you're in a logistics business. So your end user now, or the person who you're selling to, is a pharmacy or let's say a supermarket or someone like that. You want them to choose you over any other distribution person. To supply them
with medicine. Hauko at just one company. So
no.
Say unasukuma za companies zote.
Correct.
All right.
So it's the service now that you're selling. It's that logistical service. Our drugs, the quality, they come on time, the packaging is good. It's that kind of
it's more
selling.
of tenders now.
Yes. So tenders, even then we would do tenders, but it was so limited because it's that line moja. But it's like you have, it's like, what I mean, it's like if you have a shop that only sells KCC milk peke, like KCC wakakuwa na shop yao, naelewa, wanauza like their shop, they only sell KCC. Then when the Naivas, upate Naivas sasa wanauza KCC, Brookside, kila kitu. Now it's the second kind now. So that's the difference.
Also because a lot of chemists and pharmacies do deal with a lot of brands of
drugs, a lot of brands, a lot of medicine for different therapies, like if it's diabetes, high blood pressure, whatever. So now distribution is a logistics business. So that's the second job I did, but now it was from a management point of view. So it was operations, like making sure, from delivery, everything just flows the way it's supposed to flow. So from calling, also I think pharmaceutical, right now people are trying to change it, but I feel it's one of those industries that's a bit stuck in the past, because if I had a pharmacy, for example, I'll have to call, ask, do you have this drug? Do you have this drug? Do you have this drug? They generate it in an invoice, then it's taken to a store somewhere, they put the drugs together, pack it
dispatched
correct. But I think over time now I see people even doing online, like you can go online, almost like a Jumia, put the drugs and then they deliver, but it's still stuck in the past a bit. So it's just making sure the whole chain works the way it's supposed to work until the end person gets the drugs. So discounts, offers, bonus, things like that, just to make your offering attractive.
Is there an aspect of sales when it comes to distribution? Because I can imagine you do supply to this chemist and that chemist.
Yes.
Is your goal also expanding your customer base? So that is where sales also come in.
Yes,
you do
correct.
That. Were you into that?
Exactly right.
I am.
You're very right.
Thank.
You're very thank.
I'm on point.
Thank you. So I was also in charge of that, because we would have people in the field now who, like marketers, who would go around to pharmacies, but also hospitals, schools, like at let's say KBA, if they had a staff clinic, that is a potential customer. Anyone who buys to sell. So it was like a business to business kind of market, B2B. You're on point.
I'm good.
You're
good
so
at this.
good. So it was like it's B2B still, but now and that's among the things that was important to me, to also expand their customer base and to show them it's not just a pharmacy. Anyone
Anyone can be a client.
Anyone
who is buying to sell.
Correct. Anyone can be a client, and that is what a good sales and marketing professional does. They open up the eyes of the organization to see the opportunity. Like, I think you need to be someone who always sees the opportunity. Like, where's the opportunity? Where's the advantage? Who is a client? So you open the mind to see that not only this one is a client, but this one is also
You
a
don't
potential.
have to sell it to another
Correct.
chemist. You can sell
Another
it to a
chemist.
school.
Correct. It can be a school because they have, they use the
If they
drugs.
do have a
Yes. If they have a
what they call
staff
them,
clinic, dispensary, nurse, and things like that. Yeah. So, distribution is very interesting. It's very cutthroat. It's very, like, you can imagine maybe some napigana ya nani itafika ya kwanza. It's almost like when you order, if you were to order through Glovo, order Jumia, and then you wait now to see
Which company is
correct.
is
Uber
more,
Eats, which company is more efficient.
Yeah,
correct.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
I'm quite curious when you mentioned schools, like a company like Bliss. So
Yes.
how many distributors? Am I only a medical facility?
Oh yeah. I think Bliss. You mean Bliss Medical?
When I was in school, pharmaceutical dispensary ilikuwa imeandikwa Bliss
Oh,
hapo nje.
Bliss.
So I don't
Yeah,
know,
I think it's a
distributor.
network of either clinics and hospitals. So that is a potential client
So
because
to you that is a client. Si
Yes.
ati wewe sasa uko kwa kitu ka Bliss. Oh, alright.
now that is a client. And even there are people now who are into importation. So distribution also would mean importation. It's something maybe, God willing, I do in future, where you bring your drug
from outside.
yes,
from
from
companies
India
outside.
or from US or China, and now come and sell it.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's also part of distribution.
So you can contact like a company in India and tell them, I can be your supplier huko Kenya.
Yes.
I can find you a market.
Correct. So,
But will that
it's
bring
so
like some
broad.
sort of competition between some local products and
no, but that's the business. So if, for example, you find a product locally, it keeps going in and out of stock. That's a issue. You cannot get it anywhere. So if you can get a product like that out of the country, you register it with the board, and you sell it. Yeah.
How would you start, like, kuitoa huko India hiyo trust mtafanya aje? Like mse takuconvince aje tauza kitu Kenya.
But you see, even them, they are looking for business. They are looking to expand to other markets. So even you, like, it's like a win-win. Because sometimes I think the expense is what really is the, let's say, it's called barrier to the technical term is barriers to entry. So I think the barrier to entry there would be maybe the cost of importation, taxes, PPB, headache. Pharmacy and Poisons Board is the board in Kenya that gives licenses. So the whole thing is, like, before anything, not even drugs only, like, you have to have a license. So the license is in Kenya. Each country has its own licensing board. Like even the US FDA and whatever. See, they're the ones that they test and they make sure that drug is okay before even it starts being sold.
Yeah.
So in Kenya now, if, for example, you were to bring in a drug, you would first have to go to the board and say, I want to bring this drug. These are all the specifications of that drug. This is what it's supposed to do, etc. And then they give you a license. They say, okay, this license is to be able to sell that drug in the country for 1 year, for example.
Oh.
Yeah. So every year you have to renew that license if you are still selling the drug in the market. Yes. Oh. So that's also most people who do pharmacy now as a course. Also, that now is their side, like the trials, the licensing, everything. But like from a biochemistry point of view, you would either do the lab side or now the selling, the commercialization of the product. And there are many people also who do pharmacy who go into now the commercialization of the product.
Interesting that you've mentioned pharmacy, because we had a guest, Dr. Mwangi, who really
Dr.
went
Moses.
into detail with how the licensing happens and
Correct.
the medicine, the
Correct.
what did he call it? Pharmacology.
Pharmacology.
So he had a lot of
Yeah,
difficult
terms.
terms. So
Yeah.
I think people can go check that out if they're
Oh,
curious.
so it's
They're
interesting.
curious about the licensing.
Yeah,
about,
so I'll
how-
not go in depth into
itakuwa hapa.
into that.
That's why you point up.
Itakuwa hapa kwa kalink somewhere here.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Or here. 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 Here.
Yes.
Sasa hii ilikuwa imepita but
It's okay.
it's still burning.
It's burning.
Bado ka inawasha. Sasa influencers
Yes.
na marketing.
Ah.
No, kuna
Interesting.
products was zinawaka kwa influencers peke yake.
Actually, yeah.
Alafu
So-
ukijaribu
So
It's good. It's good. Let
that's a
me.
good question.
It is influencer marketing is a trend. It's big right now. And as someone who I'm just taking my question to Larry. As someone you've worked in marketing,
Yes.
not the sales bit. We will get into the sales bit.
Sales
'cause I know
and marketing.
Sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, ngoja swali yangu
So
imepotea.
it was
Nimesikia
about
group.
influencing.
Nimesikia
Influencer
kama
marketing.
ni scam.
Oh yeah. So as a marketer, I know you've dealt with a lot of pharma.
Pharma, yeah. So
Pharma, whatever.
marketing in the pharmaceutical
How
space.
those things, like do marketers tend to look at their product and understand this one will do well with influencer marketing, this one will not? What is nanga tu squeeze hata hospitali wameingia
I
influencer
know.
marketing, and it pisses me off, honestly.
It does.
It
Why
pisses
does
me
it
off.
piss you off?
Because I feel like an influencer is here to sell your brand, not your services. It's here to sell your brand. So you as a hospital, you're supposed to show me your services is what will sell me to be a continuing client or a continuing, like I'll choose this as my, is it, I don't know, as the hospital I'll be coming to. But now when you call an influencer and be like, oh,
This one is
this
famous.
hospital,
I know.
it is like this. Oh, it has branches.
We will not say
Oh,
who, but
yeah, you know them, right? Oh, the
She works
maternity.
with them.
Oh, you know, like,
correct.
why are you telling an influencer to sell your service for a I feel like for a hospital,
Yeah,
that is
like
it is-
particularly for a
for
hospital, there's a line.
Don't use influencer. But let me just.
So
it's just my opinion.
In your view,
in my
yeah, I think
humble
you should underscore or
opinion.
start this show by
Yeah.
these are the
These are
views and
Tracy's,
opinions.
only the host's views.
They do not reflect
the views
the
of
views
anyone else
of
on this
the
podcast.
entire podcast.
No, Tracy's views only.
Correct. So, a few things that come to mind one, pharmaceutical marketing is a very quote unquote niche kind of marketing because it has a wide range of restrictions. There are things you can and you can't do, and the things that you can do are infinitely smaller than the things you can't do, because over time, like the let's say because of abuse by companies or just to safeguard also the people, like you cannot market directly to patients, at least in this country. I can't come and you as a patient, I try to market to you. It's not allowed. You cannot, like, there's so many things you can't do. So also people in the pharmaceutical space that have done marketing, it's very, like, there are many things out there that concern marketing that you're not allowed by law to do. So that also restricts you a bit. You can compare to FMCG, fast moving consumer goods industry, things like household items and soaps and everything.
Yeah.
Now they have even a wider
Okay.
wider allowance on what they can
Marketing.
do.
When it
So
comes to marketing
yes,
the
because they
product.
can market directly to consumer. They can use even like a prescription drug. So drugs are different. There are drugs that you can buy. They're called over the counter. Something like Panadol you mentioned. You can walk into a shop and buy. But like Augmentin that I mentioned is a prescription drug. It has to be written by a doctor. Hence why now the marketing is focused on doctors. You understand? Now, when it comes to influencers and marketing, so in marketing there's push and there's pull, and that's why even word of mouth is actually marketing. It's not just billboards and ads. Anything, just think about anything that makes you know about something, that is marketing. So push marketing is, I can say influencer marketing falls under that, in that it's me telling you, like, I'm trying to push
You
a brand
towards a
to
brand.
you.
Oh, pushing
And
the brand.
the brand, or they want you to know, maybe if it's a hospital, that this hospital is offering this service, and this is why this hospital is better than all others. This is why you should choose that hospital. But you see, push marketing can only go so far. There is also now pull marketing, where I'm the one now who's seeking out. Like, if I want a service, for example, I need something. Me, like, seeking it out, going to look for it, now that's more like pull marketing. So it has to be like a fine blend. You have to understand your brand to a way that you have a fine blend of push and pull, so that the overall awareness, you want to build a long-term relationship with people. Now, the thing is, I think influencer marketing is, okay, it works because it's targeted at the masses and it's going where the people are, which is on social media these days.
Yeah.
But honestly, from my own, like this is my own opinion, it's not a long term. In that it can, like, how I'm seeing it going to evolve, it's like a bubble that will burst, because now the generic nature, like the authenticity, is so difficult to sustain when you're doing influencer marketing, even for the influencer and for the brand. So that's why you feel like these ones for hospital, they cross a line, like it's depersonalized. You feel like this person is just pushing a brand.
You're just pushing the brand, honestly.
Correct.
That's what we do.
So the thing is, I think it's not like, I think it's just because people are on social media. So, and also in the world of marketing, there's no bad publicity. All publicity is good publicity. As long as people are talking about you, that's all. Like, let them talk about me, good or bad.
Goal these days?
No, like, it's part of it. Like,
that's part of marketing for them.
Yeah, part of the marketing for them also. It's like, as long as people know about my brand and they talk about my brand, that's it. So, and as long as it's at the top of, like, it has a space in their mind, because there are so many brands, even hospitals, for example, those ones that you're saying, like they argue because of the way they are using influencers. But now, at least about them.
And I'm talking.
Correct.
I'm talking about it on this platform.
Yes.
You got me.
So the thing is, I think influencer marketing, it has its place when it comes to marketing and building brand awareness, building the trust and the understanding of your customers. But there's, like, it cannot be the only thing. And there's a time that will come that it will no longer. So that it will no longer work in the way it does. So someone who's like smart, they'd use it for now, but they know that they have to build they have to do a few other things to make sure that to make sure that brand continues to be in the mind of your customer. So I think it's a way of building the brand and pushing the brand, but for sure it's going a bit out of hand, especially, as you said, when it comes to services. You find even some things like the product is not good, but people are just pushing the hype. So if people now rush to buy because you saw a certain influencer, they have a certain, maybe even bag or clothes or what. So also individuality inapotea, your own need, like,
even as an influencer, I think when you market a product and it's not good, we should question your values and who you are as a person.
Your reputation is at risk. Your reputation.
But you see, it's about like making money. I think
because it's can't advertise any.
So the thing is, once capitalism checks in and consumerism checks in. So once they check in, now it's about the bag. So it's about the money. And I think that's why maybe like you seeing how now people use marketing as a tool to make money. It's one of the things that, like, it broke my heart. Studying marketing actually made me feel like I don't want to be a marketer anymore, because it opens your eyes now to see the ways that it's done, but the ways in which it's like the interesting nature of the science, but you also come to see now the way it's pinned and it's used like a tool to manipulate the masses now to push profit. And that's now where we are going into, like people are just the product is not good, you're pushing it to people, you're pushing it like it's now to make more money, like increase profits.
Like that, your goal is profit, not
It's
how
just
the customer
money.
the
It's not
experience.
about it's really not about the customer. It's
Customer
not about
experience with
even
your
the
product.
product, the awareness of a product. And that's why I think eventually when the dust settles, the products that will remain are the good products. And
when the ones that will remain.
it's
As you've mentioned, see long term.
correct. It's not long term. It's a short term way, but it works. It gets the people. But I think if maybe you have a brand or a service or something, you need to think about how else, like the other channels that you can engage with your customer beyond the influencer marketing. Yeah. So that's my thought about influencer marketing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like how you've explained. And Seven, you may explain about the push and the pull.
In the pool marketing,
When it comes to my views on how hospitals should market themselves, I think pull is what they should run to.
Correct.
Don't use an influencer to push the brand. Try and lure the customers to you. Try and bring the customers to you, not people pushing the brand.
So social media alone cut it
No,
drive sales.
I honestly think it doesn't cut it to drive sales, and that is why even with the advent of social media, you'd think billboards would cease to exist. You will think even like the way people use the internet, you see those pop-ups, the annoying ones. Sorry, I don't say global ads, but I just said the ones that come on YouTube.
But it's true.
Yeah.
There are 1 million. See, download. Don't get
but you would think you would correct. You'd think email would die. You'd think SMS would die. But the fact that people are still using it means like all
Email
these are
marketing,
channels that all these are ways to reach and engage with your customer and make them know about your brand. But it's about now the science of marketing. The art is knowing how to string all those channels, a bit of this, mix them nicely so that you just get a perfect blend that resonates with your customer. Now that's the art. So the science is knowing that the push works, the influencer marketing works, all those things work. But now the art is be able to, it's like a customer engagement, like an orchestra, like orchestrating all those things so that the information is just the right time. There's a message. When they walk out of the door, they see you on a billboard. When they switch on the TV, they see you somewhere. Like making sure it's front in their mind. The level of noise is high such that when they walk into that store, they will buy you. They will not buy someone else because you've built that relationship. Like this person understands me,
So social media can help in improving sales.
No, it does. It does help. And the reason why they're using it is because it works. It works. But I can say it's not long term because also audiences.
Even
Another
social media,
thing that's
really
interesting when it comes to marketing, you also note how trends, like how things are changing. And another brilliant thing, I think brilliant marketers, they evolve with their customer. They grow with the customer and they understand that things are changing. So I like also to look up like the trends, the way you realize, for example, the rise of as generations are changing, there are also things that come up and die with other generations, like the rise of non-alcoholic beverages. It's also on the rise. So you see many alcoholic companies are now trying to come up with non-alcoholic because among our generation now, Gen Zs are drinking less. So they are this is just an example. So they want they want non-alcoholic. They're moving towards like that's the
drinks.
So sober curious movements and things like that. So you see many of these alcoholic are also trying to fix or to try to make people
Some
drink
to other
more.
beverages.
So you see the marketing is now very aggressive. Like if you've noted the last couple of years, alcoholic beverages marketing is aggressive.
True.
Very aggressive. So the aggressiveness also of campaigns is now pushed by the way things are evolving, the customers are evolving. Another interesting trend also I've observed is with the resurgence of phones that are not smart. So these non-smart phones, they have also started coming.
Kaduda.
Yes, even Nokia has now gone back
Oh
to
yeah,
production.
I've seen the. Hey,
You've seen,
Kwanza,
and
so
kwanza there's a
tiny.
nice car flip.
Oh, there's a flip one.
There's
I've
a
only seen the button one.
Imerudi kama hizo za hiyo time. And it's because also now with the effects of social media and how the smartphones have really affected the generation, the coming generations are starting to shun them a bit. The distraction, the constant communication, like it's becoming too much. So those ones also, it's an interesting trend to watch. So you also need to have your eyes on the ground. Like, and that's why I was telling you, like influencer marketing, there's so much it misses out on because you're so dead bent, like to push that you don't realize that things are changing and you need to also change and move with the times.
So as a marketer, you really need to be aware of these trends,
You
especially
need.
with your product. Be
Correct.
familiar with your product.
Yes.
And do a lot of research on the trends that are coming up.
That's
and what
exactly
you can,
right. You need to understand what's your product. So even when it comes, like you, if you want to start a business or to sell something, you first have to really understand what's your product. What are you selling? What does it do? Where does it shine? And now that's the information. You want to make it shine. You want to amplify it. How does it shine compared to the others? Because you're not working in isolation. So a lot of it also, it's observing the competition and how yours will stand out. It's all about, it's an attention business. It's grabbing and keeping your attention. Yeah. It's me. Me, I'm better than everyone. Me.
And you need to show that why me.
Correct. And you need to, the more aggressive the market becomes, you have to be aggressive with it. The more you realize some trends, and I think before I go to that, Larry, you had a question.
I wanted to ask about the audience because
Yes.
kuna billboards zinakwanga Thika Road.
Correct.
Kuna vile ziko Githu.
I think he's referencing a certain
Reference.
TikTok that
Lakini-
we saw.
Kuna
Oh, wow.
billboards
I
ziko
think
Westlands.
kuna billboards za Karen, za Gedho,
Za Gedho.
za Ngong Road.
Ah.
Na kuna za, and they're all marketing maybe, okay, not the same product,
Yeah.
but, oh yes, it's the same product. Different companies,
But now
different
Different
brands.
brands.
na different
But sasa
prices. Sasa hapo kwa
wanajua
prices.
kuna wenye
Watu
Thika
wanaishi
Road,
Thika Road.
hii ni yao. Kuna
Watu
watu wa
wa
Karen,
Lavington.
Karen Ngong, kuna yao
Interesting.
Westlands, kuna yao Kileleshwa.
Yeah, it's about audience. It's called like
Lakini ni
segmentation
madharau.
and targeting. Yeah, it is about targeting.
That's profiling.
Yes, you profile.
You have to-
That's the
Why you
science of
profile? Why
it.
do you think I cannot afford that? Why
And
put
also a
billboard
lot
in
of
Karen and
actually
not in Thika
marketers, you find a lot of data and stats.
Road? Yeah, they
And
have
a
to.
lot of analysis of the data. Like now the other side is if someone has bought, now you need to study who is buying, why they are buying. Is it because someone else is out of stock that they are buying you? So it's not ati ni kitu ati wanapenda. Ni ile hakuna choice. Unaelewa? Also you need to now analyze the data. Like identify when do they buy, how they buy, like the way over time people have realized end month watu hawana do, so the offers, you find the text for offers are more that time, or the time when people have just been paid, that's when the offers reduce because they have the
And
money.
discounts,
So those kind of like over time you come to learn now that about your customer and you target. So you learn, you feed it back to your process to make sure you can target better. So it's like it I don't know how to put, like you narrow it, you target yourself such that like you make sure 9 ways to Sunday they'll always choose you. Exactly. Yeah, so the audience, you need to understand who your audience is and what do they want. And sometimes even they don't know what they want. You're the one who's
You have to convince them what they want.
correct. So
and
you
make them know
create
what
the
they
need.
want.
Correct.
Create the need
For your
and provide
product.
the want.
Correct. Because all these products that have come over time, you wonder, these things, like all of a sudden, it's a need. Like I need to eat chocolate. I need to
You need
KFC.
mint chalk back.
Tis
It
the
can't-
season. Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
Daniel, I
the
have
mint
done
stock
that.
trade. It's back. So good.
Good marketing.
Now,
Good marketing.
yeah. So maybe
Ni
to
70 bob.
underscore that,
Ni 70 bob.
but you will buy it.
Really?
But you will
Nitabuy.
You will buy it.
Acha
Nadhani
tukimaliza
utatoa
hapa.
wapi?
Ninaenda
You think
kununua.
they're in stock?
You
No
think
one else is doing it.
mimi niko na
Hey.
nimekuja nikikula hiyo mint choc kwa nini?
Umekula?
They are not
Niko
in stock.
nayo.
Sasa ndo anamaliza.
Zisha-
They
Isha.
end out of stock because
real?
you know the thing
Na ni
is
nyinyi millennials.
and it's genius. Millennials are
Na
the
ni nyinyi
ones
millennials.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And so when I look at it, like it's genius. You see, like the resurgence of mint choc. That thing, like millennials. Every word I know, I've introduced, and I was introduced by someone. Like that thing, they are not even advertising it
They're
as
not.
aggressive,
They've-
but it's really
Just
like
mentioned.
it's mentioned.
I saw it when they were doing
Very
like
nice.
what do we call it? The influencer, whatever. They had an influencer thing. The company now,
Oh,
they had an influencer thing. And then I saw it. I was like, wait.
Mint
Am I
My
saying?
Shayla.
Am I Shayla? utafanya Ruth apote.
No, but
I saw it and I was like, wow. It's sad that I've not eaten it.
wow.
Hadi sahi.
Yeah. So,
Ninakimbia supermarket after this. I have to eat it.
yeah,
I
so
hope
that's
nitapata.
that's also like it's not
That is someone who is
exactly the
observing.
same, but that's someone who observed that there is some sort of nostalgia. So what they are doing now, they are capitalizing on the nostalgia that a certain generation had that grew up with it. So it's like they're bringing it back now.
Yeah.
So that's also brilliant. I think what and also another thing, brands are built over time. So it's not a one-time thing. And that's why a lot of this influencer marketing, it's almost like hit and run. Like once inapotea. Like it doesn't form a lasting impression. Think about sunlight. The relationship between the yellow color and sunlight is very strong.
Yeah, true.
And that is why when Blue Band, like an example, when Blue Band brought ile uji yao, what happened?
yeah.
They put it in a yellow because they thought this is our
A yellow,
color.
whatever.
They put it in a yellow, and
Pack.
everyone, like there was a big like, this is sunlight.
This
Me,
is
I went to
sunlight
buy
brand
sunlight.
packaging.
Nimerudi home na uji.
Nimerudi home na uji. Like people are just
Because actually, because sunlight it's yellow and the wording is in blue.
Yes,
So Blue Band
it's a-
did the same.
correct.
Oh,
So
wow.
now it's like they didn't do Apple. Like in my own now assessment as a marketer, I feel like Apple kuna mtu akufanya their homework to do market research and understand the association. Like Sunlight have done such a good job over time. They have built such a strong association between the color yellow in a package ya karatasi ya
Yeah.
box until when you see it like this, like if you just be seen without any
Any sunlight.
wording or anything.
That's sunlight.
Sunlight. It's almost like also the in Kenya, you see this bubble gum Coca-Cola, the Fanta, hiyo ya blue. It didn't do well.
It didn't do well.
Why?
Oh God.
Because the associations Kenyans have with a blue liquid in a chupa clear, it's soap.
Oh.
As in, hii soap ya kutengenezwa.
Yeah.
See green and blue. Yet in
Oh yeah, liquid soap.
yeah, liquid soap.
Yeah.
So people are like, hey,
And actually,
in your mind.
hii ya kutengenezwa ina package wangu kwa hiyo chupa ya soda.
Clear. Yes. And it's so interesting because like if you check in the US, you see Gatorade and those US
Yeah.
brands, it's blue and green.
Yeah.
Things like Mountain Dew and stuff, like people in the US soft drinks, there's that association of the color blue and green in liquids.
True.
But in Kenya, for some reason, it will not take off because you're like, hey, it's a subconscious
What's this?
thing.
Yeah.
It's a subconscious thing. It looks so strange.
Yeah, that's
you know.
that's what a color we are used to.
Correct. So those are things that are interesting also to do with marketing. Other people also, brands that have really do a good job. People like Heineken, very good. And it's not even because that it's a big company with budget. Like when you see their ads, they really understand the people who drink Heineken. Like very good. People also who do well. And they're not known. So another thing, it's not at brands that are known, but as a marketer, when you see a campaign, you're like, wow, yeah, that's genius. People like Puma, very good as well. So you just see brands across the world that have now perfected the art of
marketing
putting their brand,
and understanding their audience.
understanding.
So personal branding is a key to more sales.
Yes. So you as a person, you are a brand. Who is Tracy Ann? What are you about? And that's why sometimes like you you really need to see it and ask yourself, like, what am I selling in terms of myself? Like, what am I about? Because you branding yourself is key to how people see you in the world and how you show up in the world. So even when it comes to like sales and marketing, a big part of it is also your brand, your personality. Who are you as a person? So you find that's why maybe people say some people are good salespeople, like they are natural, it's inborn in them, and there are people who struggle a bit, even if you can be taught and you learn and you are trained and everything. But I can say also your personal brand is the first part of brand. I think everyone is marketing themselves. Everyone, like as long as you're walking out of the door and you want to make money, you are selling yourself. Yes, you're exchanging your soul for money. You have to sell.
I like that you've touched on personalities.
Yes,
because that's another question I
correct.
had. Kuna personality inaweza fanya it can do well, like maybe an extrovert. Can an extrovert do well? But also the extroverts who are
horrible,
who could not
do well,
be good salespeople.
Correct.
And there are introverts who will do fantastic.
Correct.
I see on social media.
Yes.
Mse advertise kitu, but mi sipendi huyo mse, I want that product.
Yes.
Lakini mi sipendi huyo mse, na swipe tu.
Correct. It's so interesting. It's a misconception people have that their personalities that can be good salespeople.
The most talkative one can.
Yes, the
sell
most
more.
talkative, outgoing,
this one who doesn't talk
fun. But the truth is, I believe anyone can be a sales and be a marketer and do very, very well. It's not a personality thing. I can say it's about the curiosity. It's about, like, if you are trained, even you today, you can be trained and become a pharmaceutical salesperson.
Really, without studying?
You can. So they say, in terms of undergrad, they say you have to have a background in science. They call them life sciences, like biology or chemistry or that. But the truth is, you can be trained and you can sell anything. Anything. Like anything can be sold, anything that can be bought, anything that has a demand, like has a supply, you can create a demand for it. You can. It's just about demand and supply. Hiyo kitu tulisoma, business studies. It's really about supply and demand. So the thing is, I think introverts, among the best marketers I've met are introverts.
Really?
Even me, myself, I can say I'm an introvert. When you look at those personality types, I'm melancholic, but I'm sanguine as well.
Yeah.
The primary one is melancholic, but because of a time of interacting with people, someone would think
that you're sanguine.
Correct.
Yeah.
But in actual sense, I'm a melancholic. Yes, correct. So the thing is, even leadership, like leading people and stuff, brings out that sanguine side, let's say. So someone would think, when they meet me, like when I'm talking to people, leading, and they think I'm a
sanguine.
But if they meet me at home, reading a book, or in the middle of a breakdown because you felt something so deeply,
they'll understand.
This person. Exactly. So I think it's about your curiosity. It's about you, like, understanding the product, as I said. It's not really a personality thing. And it gives people a lot of hope because at least just because you're a certain personality, it doesn't lock you out, because you have to be deeply analytical. Another thing, people think marketing is like fun, billboards, fun parties and things like that. But they actually don't see the analytical side. You have to think about things deeply. You have to be very observant. Observe. You have to see things, and truly see what's happening.
Be keen.
You need to be very keen. The attention to detail. Now I'm using the terms. And also you need to be daring. You need to be very, like, you need to the courage.
There's a lot that has come into my mind, but I won't use it because this
correct.
Is very Christian.
What?
Because there's a word that has
that has come to your mind
when you've said daring.
Yes, you need to dare. Exactly. Yeah. So I think like you need to have a cause, like push. Like, what are you trying to communicate? What cause do you have? So you find these movements like taking a knee, the when you know the like Black Lives Matter and things like that. All those, you're trying to push an agenda.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell some, and that's why I think these days the things like have gotten to a point where you actually, now that's what I was saying, it's almost like marketing now is being narrowed down to be a tool of mass manipulation. Because now these days, especially within when you check online influencer marketing, it's almost like there's a group of people, like 10 guys who sit somewhere, and then they dictate what you will like, what you will find cool, what you will find fun. They tell you this is fun, and it's an image they have created for you.
Oh, so they're
Yep.
dictating.
So you kind of feel like individuality and your own, what you want and
It's
what
been
you,
taken away.
it's a curated, and as long as there's a camera on it, it's staged. So another thing we don't realize as well is that as much as their brands, their products, good products, bad products, but let it never take away from you the ability to just walk in somewhere and try things, to discover, like the discovery of life, and just wanting to experiment and get to find out things has progressively, it has reduced to a point now it's like the paradox of choice. So the more you have to choose from, the more difficult you think that it's easy now that there are so many brands and so many things, but you realize it becomes more difficult because there's, oh my god, the opportunity cost of choosing this versus this, now this one, then this one, like you spend so much time. It's such a toll on the soul, and that is why even things like minimalism now look the way, it's all the way, because now it's a generation that has grown up, it has everything. Now minimalism comes in because it's like it's taking a toll. So I think in the final analysis, I believe no amount of marketing will ever compensate for a good product, or like no amount of marketing will ever compensate for a bad product, and a good product is a good product. So
Even not the marketing.
for sure, there are many things, good products, and never compensate. Even you as a person, don't dilute that value to for like exchange it for more likes, more followers, more view, like whatever makes BTP. That's the product now. And a good product is a good product. Many things, like even that Dairyland, it's not like the way it was, but it's good. Yeah, and it will move because of that. Things also that, for example, I think the Nivea, the creams, is a good product. They will influence, you'll see when they have influencers, but it's not being pushed as much, but it's a good product. And also I think there's an objective good. There is such a thing as good and bad, like objective, because we live in a relative society. When it comes to faith, people say, there's no good, there's no bad. It's like it depends on the way you look at it. But I think you as a marketer, you need to understand like your product, what is the goodness of your product, and you leverage on it.
I have a couple of friends who are in the marketing industry, and when we're sitting down and having conversations about marketing and all of that, I hear them talking about budget, and how the budget allocated to the marketing department can affect how they are marketing the product. How important is
budget? Is important because budget it's an enabler. It's what enables you to do grand things. So first, before I go to that, on the budget, sales and marketing. So people think you either do sales or you do marketing, but among the best marketers are people who've been sales people. You can distinguish them. You can distinguish them, but you can never separate sales and marketing.
True.
There's
a reason why sales end.
There are two sides of the same coin. It's this side sales, this side marketing. They work hand in hand. And we try with, roles and everything to separate or to distinguish.
Actually, people in different companies,
Correct.
It's two different departments. There's
Correct.
the sales department and there's the marketing.
Correct. But a good marketer is a salesperson, I believe, and a good salesperson is a
good
marketer.
marketer.
Like, you cannot separate. They are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
So budget is important because it's an enabler, but also another misconception. You can have a big budget, but the campaign can fall through. Like, you can have a big budget, but don't make a big impact commensurate to the budget.
Okay.
Correct.
So you can have a big budget, but
You can have a big budget
The
and
campaign
a
is-
shoddy campaign. You can.
Oh,
And actually, many of these, these agencies that do marketing and what, you will pay millions,
Yeah.
and the return on that investment, you will not see it. It's
Utalia
not
machozi.
the size. So a big budget. You think this big, like, beverage example, like Coca-Cola or
Coca-Cola has a big
Bale,
marketing
they
budget.
have big budgets.
They have big
But they're
budget.
doing AI.
Like,
right?
I see them, I'm
They're
like,
doing-
ooh,
they started-
there's
the
big
last one
budget.
was AI. Mtu anashangaa kwa nini.
Oh, really? I've not seen that one.
It's like a Santa thing. I'll show you.
So you can have a
yeah, last year
a big
Christmas.
AI,
budget.
walitumia AI.
Okay, don't know.
But
knew
you
it,
see,
but
a
I
big
didn't.
budget will never compensate, and that's why I said it will never compensate for a good product.
Yeah.
And number two, it will never compensate. You have to do the work. You see, understanding your audience, understanding what will get to them, what they will resonate with. It will never do that work for you.
Whether you're
You
given
have-
millions.
Correct. With a budget of 10K, you can do a fantastic job. With a budget of 10M, you can do a fantastic job. What will change is the scale, but in terms of the impact, the way it will hit the audience, you have to do the groundwork. And that is why they still have to sit, they research, they do their own surveys, they observe. And then now with the big budget, it enables you, like, the scale of what you will do with a big budget is of course amplified. Yeah. But Pia, if you have a big budget, there's a big expectation.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah.
the money has to come back. So you will not at least pledging 10M and then the thing doesn't sell.
Nothing.
Now we have to do root cause of why did
We
it
don't have
sell? Why
website clicks. We
and
don't
the
have
next time
visits
you
on
won't
our
be
program.
given 10M.
Yeah.
It will reduce
Slash
Sindio?
100,000.
So
Work with
yes,
what we
the
have.
budget is big, but the
The
expectation
expectation
and
is even bigger.
Yes, the expectation for the money to come back.
No, kenye umesema hata inanibeg niulize. Seme for the studio, I provide this microphones.
Yes.
Then I do the first 3.
Yes.
Then maybe we expand, then we have like
Correct.
7 more.
Yeah.
But the next time mtu mwingine ata supply the same microphone.
Yes.
Like maybe the director will not use me anymore. So how is that in relation to customer relations? I feel like you've answered it but indirectly, so I don't want you to answer it directly. Mbona like unakipa je customer relations venye sasa mwenye ananunua mic sasa sema acha choose another source.
Another person.
Same the brand though. Same
Correct.
price, same everything.
Same price, same everything.
Same services,
Correct.
but I may choose another supplier. I feel like inauliza as from a customer point of view, not
Yes.
mwenye amewapea hiyo 10M.
Oh, from a customer point of view. Wow. To be honest, there is the reasons that could happen. There are so many. Like, there are so many reasons why that could happen. It could be hata mtu mwingine maybe bro yake ameanza kuziuza. So now they feel compelled to support their brother. It could be hata they heard something about you. They heard something about Larry and now they don't like you anymore. So they don't. Na hata labda it's hearsay. It could be even it's not the truth. Yeah. Now, from a customer relation point of view, now the work of the sales and the marketing team is to investigate and find out why are people moving away from my brand? Why are people choosing someone else other than me? And then you figure out why, and then you course correct you correct the cause by saying, okay, if this is why, can I change something or add something or remove something that will make the the customer come
back,
back.
yeah.
Or that will make me get another customer to replace this one. So it's about asking why and being ready to know, to hear the answer. So it's even, you'll hear the people say, salespeople, you're used to be told no all a lot, you're used to being rejected a lot.
Yeah.
So you will hear no, but the question is why. You need to be curious. Now you're curious. So that's why people, it's so easy. Like you go somewhere, people say yes, they buy, yes. But when you hear the no, now you're curious. You want to know, but why? Then you listen. And I think many brands also, they don't listen to their customer. So the customer says something
is
very important. So they don't listen. So the customer are telling them, no, we don't want this change. Aramis, they tried to change the packet. I think the package. I think it was a joke somewhere on media.
Yeah.
Like someone had tried to redo. People said, please don't touch.
As a loyal fan,
Correct.
let it stay as is.
Let it stay.
Correct.
Stay.
Yeah.
So, Larry, just to come to your question, I think there are so many reasons, and sometimes they are valid reasons. So, it's not taking it personally as a marketer, but being curious enough to ask why, and then seeing what is in your scope to change. Because there's something you cannot change. If it's a relationship, you can change, you can mend. Maybe a likasirika, you need to understand, change something like that. But sometimes there's nothing you can do. You just lose that customer and they go.
You just make it. Take your
Correct.
L.
So you need to look for another customer. And that's why R&D, research and development, is very important. You need to keep checking what else can have a market, what else can sell, what else can be associated with us, and push the brand, push our sales like that. So if you only have one thing, also it's a risk, because once it falls through, now you have nothing else. Yeah. And then also taking customer feedback, putting it back into, like plowing it into your product. What else? Observing. There's a lot of observation that you need to do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, that's the secret of turning a no into a yes.
Yes.
It was one of the questions.
Turning a no to a yes. Yeah, it's asking why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Na feeling kama nimekuwa class.
Umekuwa class.
By this time, I think someone should just give me a certificate of diploma in sales and marketing. Because I can sell. Nimeona Ruth, I can sell.
You can.
Anything.
You just need to understand what you're selling and who you're selling to. Once you understand that, there's nothing you can't do by the yeah.
Awesome. I feel like I have more knowledge than
Correct.
I had when it comes to marketing and sales.
Like.
I feel like, yeah. I actually know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ruth.
No
wow.
problem. And
you have
I don't think I don't even think I'm there yet. Like there's so much to learn, so much to know. I'm around 8 years in working now. I mean, someone who's 30 or 40 years in the industry, imagine the experience and the knowledge. So you it's just maybe curiosity, like being curious about it, thinking about it deeply as well. There's a lot of thinking. So it's simple. It's a simple science, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay. Yeah, so I hope to keep learning, keep growing, keep working, like just to expand it more. Yeah, there's so much more we would have talked about, like leadership.
Yeah.
In the I think it's something that I'm also passionate about. And being a good boss, being a good leader. There are many bosses, but there are people who are no good leaders. I think
Director,
there are some things. Hizo ni mtaniita next.
Okay.
Uzuri si ku exhaust
hapa ni nyumbani.
It's not only this, I'm sure that we'll have so much to talk about. Yeah, like the passion of harnessing now all the teams to work together towards one common goal. Because sales and marketing is just one arm, but side your production, side your delivery, the service, everything, like they all have to work seamlessly to give the customer the best experience with your brand. It can be a good product, but the person who delivers it goes and insults the customer. So now your product, you're out of the door.
Yeah.
So also maybe next time we'll talk about why I'm not on social media
Why are
anymore.
you not?
So
And you're a marketer.
I know, it's so interesting. Yeah, so actually my diploma was in digital marketing, but
And yet.
and yet. Yeah, so that's we can talk about that next time. But thanks for calling me. I hope at least I've given some insights. Yeah,
You have a lot of knowledge. You've shared a lot of knowledge, and we are really grateful for that.
no problem.
Yeah.
Larry, you don't have a fun quiz? I was really looking forward to a quiz. Some question and answers. You can ask me what's my favorite. Last time.
Acha nisifanye bio.
AI. The AI.
Let me
Using AI.
next time you're here.
No, I have. You've given me an idea. Tell me about your day. A typical, maybe Monday to Friday week or
Actually,
whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
In a day in the life of a sales
Unaona zile
and
ma video
marketer.
bloggers wanaeka kwa
Yeah, a
kamera.
day in the life.
Anarudi kwa kitanda anaamka.
Day in the
Wow.
life. Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about your day.
Wow. So, let me speak about the day a day in the life of a sales and marketing person. So, if you're a strict salesperson, your day would entail waking up, getting dressed, going out, and once you step out of the door, you don't know what you'll find. You don't know the customers, the mood they'll be in. Whatever it is, you come across it, just turning it around for the business. So it's quite unpredictable. It would involve maybe going place to place, talking to clients, hearing about the feedback they're giving them information about your product. You can do that even 10 years, the same product, going to the same people, but now you're building a relationship. So you'd have maybe a list of 20 guys in a certain area, maybe Kahawa West, these clients. Then you go around, talk to them about your product, but also hear their feedback. Then at the end of the day, you sit down somewhere under a tree and write a report that you submit to your supervisor or your manager who's supposed to take that information. So that day in the life on someone who's on this other side now is to take that information, extract what are these customers saying, and then ask yourself, now how can I position myself or my product or improve to make it even better for the customer. So the day in the life now of someone on the other side in terms of sales and marketing, not now the strict sales rep, let's say a marketer, would be to take all those insights, do analysis, come up with the insight. So you get the data, come up with an insight that you use to improve. So a lot of Excel analysis, all that is still part of the job. Correct. You for sure, even with, and you see AI has come, of course it will make things, and it has made a lot of things easy, but for sure nothing will, lazima you do your homework. You have to do the market research, you have to get the insights from the people, you have to do your own testing, everything you have to do it yourself.
Okay. Aya, another fun question. Preferred beverage, tea, coffee, juice?
I like black tea.
Strungi.
Yes. I don't know whether you deja vu moment to
Someone
the
has
last
never told us.
interview.
Kuna mtu mwingine ameitwa
Yeah.
Ama ni Antoa.
Yeah.
Santo!
It's your husband.
Hint. But anyway, I like my favorite beverage, black tea, black coffee, but may put sugar.
So nyinyi mkitoka job, nyinyi come to home, mna unwind na strungi.
For sure.
Kahot water in a
tea.
tea bag. Oh God.
Yeah, so I like black tea, black coffee. I also like yogurt. Yes, actually, yeah. What else? Those are my favorite beverage, favorite food. Oh wow, and the typical Kikuyu.
Waru.
Githeri.
Oh,
Mokimo.
waru.
Typical. Yeah.
Githeri lazima ama ile tu imechemshwa alafu ikakaangwa tu na kakitunguu.
Yes, anyway you spin it.
Anyway you spin it.
I like it.
Interesting.
So what else?
Awesome.
Wow, what do I like to read as well? Widely. I like
Activities you like to do for fun apart from reading.
Yeah.
Not
it's
fun.
fun.
You can read and sit for an exam and get paid for it. Like I've never heard of anyone saying they'd have a career in reading, studying, sitting for exams and then paying me.
yes.
So
For
you're
sure.
unique. Apart from
And
that,
at anything,
and you'd excel
like,
at it. You'd be a billionaire.
Like if it's-
Bill Gates.
And then there's no caveat. Like if you tell me you astrophysics, you what?
For as long as you can study
As long
and
as I
sit for
can,
an
it's
exam.
something that can be studied. I'll do.
So those books hapo zinakupea tu goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Is it an
Oh yeah. So
Kwake.
other than that, what do I like to do? I like to watch comedy. I really like British
what are you
comedy.
watching right now? What's a comedy you're
I
watching
watch
right
a
now?
lot of John Oliver. Watch a lot of
Okay.
Chappelle. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
some are
I
a
love
bit-
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, so I like the storytelling aspect of comedy. I really like it. Of course, I loved the Daily Show, but when Trevor Noah left,
Same.
it just fell through.
It is boring.
Their comedy.
I hope it comes
There
back.
are comedians I get. There are comedians I don't get. But I also like roast comedy. I discovered
see the
that
Kenyan one?
recently. No,
The Kenyan one?
I don't. For some reason, I don't know whether I'm being racist, but I don't get Kenyan comedy.
You don't?
I don't get.
No.
Like maybe you will share with me.
I'll share with you.
Share with me.
Yeah.
Because
there's,
I
there's
feel
a
like-
comedy club when you go
Really?
there, you
They
will
roast. I like roast. Of late, hata ndo nimekam kudiscover roast comedy as a genre. I never
there
like
is-
I was
and
just
it's
very
wide.
classical like stand-up comedy.
The Kenyan roast comedy is coming up, but the Kenyan stand-up comedy kind of thing, it's amazing.
Really,
It's amazing.
Share with me,
I'll
I'll
share
because
it
I feel
with you.
like maybe okay, people are also different. You know, comedy is also very wide.
Yeah.
There are people who like situational. Like if I feel Kenyan comedy is
sitcoms,
situation comedy in terms of
Let's
like
talk
it's
about
very
politics.
it's about maybe politics or these tribal jokes. Like if
No.
you're not a Kenyan, you not get
You'll
it.
not get
but like British jokes are more in the irony, in the sarcasm, in the play of words, in the like
I know the
self-deprecating.
perfect. I know the
You know
perfect
Pete
place for you.
Davidson.
Yes, I know.
Correct.
Of course.
He does like self-deprecating humor.
Yeah.
Like ni kama anajichomea, but it's funny.
The joke about him not having a dad
yeah.
kills me every time.
Self-deprecating humor is actually
Kills me
very
every time.
interesting.
Larry is so
very
lost.
good. Yeah, so I'm just a fan of comedy.
I'll share with
like,
you some very interesting comedy clubs in the country,
Share
and
with
I
me.
hope you get to
maybe
enjoy.
it changes my mind.
Yeah, I hope you get to
on-
enjoy Kenyan comedy.
Kenyan
I am
comedy.
such a fan. I am a
Yeah,
sucker
so
for
I
good
like
comedy in
that.
Kenya.
Uko so lost.
Uko so lost.
I sit and just listen to tech people. You know, because Elon Musk 3 hours.
Be diverse.
Yeah.
Be diverse.
Oh yeah, I've also come to watch a lot of those shows now, like tech because
Sasa I'll put you on. It's my turn. Sonia
every year
Ngari.
I check also what they're coming up with CES.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
CES. I like to watch. Actually, I like to watch. So fun. Something that people don't know. I like watching, especially after a long day or I've really done a lot of like thinking and reading. I actually like watching vanity shows, what they call vanity shows. These shows that like if you have 2 remaining brain cells, those are the shows I'll spend them on. So things like
That's that
these-
do not make sense.
like no vanity shows are shows that like let's say things like Perfect Match, let's do Love Island, Too Hot to Handle, The Bachelor,
Reality TV.
The Bachelor. Yes, those reality wives, sijui wags,
watching it.
sijui
Real
what
Housewives
Atlanta,
of Atlanta,
those
of Pretoria.
drama, those ones.
Nah.
For some reason, they are so relaxing. Like because you
Relaxing.
don't have. I feel like you
The
don't have
drama.
to think. It's
Yeah,
fake,
juicy.
staged.
Young,
You're
famous,
just-
and African.
Yes.
That's what. That's your preferred.
Yeah, Nani.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm 31st.
Simba.
2-1.
Yeah,
31st.
Chibude.
Yeah, 31st.
Those things because it's like you don't have to think. If you have even 2 brains,
You don't have to think.
you just
Or there's nothing to analyze because
Yeah.
it's too dramatic. They're doing it for you.
you're just like, wow, fake drama. I think because
And
I
it's so
honestly
staged.
don't
So
have
watch
that.
Yaya,
Like
Iliana
I
Sema.
don't have it.
Young, famous, and African.
Yes,
Season
of course
3.
I've watched. And that's what I'm currently watching.
where he got flowers from Tanzania. And even-
Yeah, so I
no.
really like watching vanity shows. Like when I don't want
Ah.
to think, I just
Mizi
sit and watch
imenishinda, honestly.
staged drama. I'm just like, guy, now what is going on? They are fighting.
No, yo. Now
Now
we
they are
were
loving
just
each other.
we were
Now-
just having dinner. Why are we throwing
I was
plates
just
across
chilling.
the table?
Like, yeah, those kind. I
Oh.
also like watching
Wow,
that.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, that's
so
something people
interesting. That's very
So if
interesting.
you check, let's say on Netflix, if you were to open my profile and then open like my husband's profile,
2 worlds apart.
2 worlds apart. Because those are the things I keep
Sasa wewe
watching.
unawatch ukijua ni staged.
Yes.
Kuna mtu anatoa hapo insight
yeah.
yake. Anasema vitu zinafaa
There's
kwenda
someone
hivi."
who does that in 2025. You're watching, for example, Young
Correct.
Famous and African, and you think that
That's
these two
why I become
celebrities
so
are
shocked to
fighting for real.
Because I'm like, I've never seen people who don't watch, girls rather.
Oh.
Because people, nashangaa, yani ndio siuishi maisha real.
Me does watch TikTok. I cannot sit down and
Really?
watch it. I cannot sit down.
I think
Diamond
also
Diamond
the
on
things
TikTok.
I find fascinating these days, I think one of the, no, this is the last thing I'll say. The best, I think among the best decisions I made last year was quitting social media.
Why is
And
that?
me, it's not at anything personal on anyone. Like the things it has given me back so much in terms of, so not even time. These days I listen to people because I would never catch anything. Not even like that. Like I want to know what's going on in the world, but now I get to learn through other people what they are talking about. Someone is like, "What? Ujasikia story?" I'm like, "No, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on TikTok." So now I listen to people, and when someone says something, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll catch that." So I get to know what's going on. Even when Anthony tells me, "Hey, kuna hii kitu X," I'm like, now I will listen to him because I'm like, "Oh, how
Or you
else-
won't
how
run
else
to.
will I know?"
Anto is not there for views. Yeye anataka kupenda akwambie story. Unless
Sasa
mwenye
anaandika-
amepost ndio apate
Correct.
views.
So it's really given me like maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
So in terms of even knowing what's going on, like the podcasts, like this one for Bumpy, for
Sophie and Bumpy. Yeah.
I
So
listened
this
to
is
it.
love.
Why? Because someone just mentioned, "Hey, have you heard this story?" I'm like, "No." So I started listening. So I've come to, like, I just feel like my view of life has completely changed.
Since
It's
you
no
stopped
longer social media, it's people.
It's like I feel like there's a way, when it was maybe my experience of it, and that's for me, I don't tell anyone quit it, maybe my experience of it, I just used to feel so like I'm being programmed, like this is what you like, this is what you need, you
And
know.
it's true.
It's like
It's
it's
true.
programming
It's
you
It is
to
Let's say the same
telling
thing.
you this is what you like,
And it's
this
true.
is what is cool, this is what is fun.
This is how you feel
But by
at this
walking
point.
away, I've learned so much. Like you just listen to people, they say something, I'm like, I'll check that, and I take it seriously. I observe a lot, even facial expressions, body language. Yani,
Awesome.
wow. Now I seek out information purposefully. I want to know what's going on. Yeah, so that's one
When
of
I
the
grow up,
things
I'd
I'm
like
so
to quit
glad
social
I did.
media. When I grow up.
Whether I really challenge someone, maybe people take breaks also.
Yeah.
There are people who feel like 1 week, 2 weeks, but I think that constant communication,
Like to do an ear.
yeah,
An
yeah,
ear
you should.
from
And I understand
social
there are people
media.
who that's their primary workplace,
True.
primary marketplace.
Yeah.
Like someone maybe who's a social, because it's part of marketing as well. If you're like, let's say we was a social media marketer for Instagram, a social media marketer for Safaricom, for example, you have to be on these platforms.
That's where your audience is.
Yes, that's
A
their
lot
job.
of
But
primary
I think
audience,
I
yeah.
would challenge anyone to. It's a
try.
very interesting life.
Nina quitting the
Inabamba,
social
ni
media
real.
one.
It's real.
Very real.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You're in touch with the real world.
You're in touch with the real
Awesome.
world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this session with you. This
Thank you.
sitting, having you on set.
Even I
It's
feel
been
like
a
I've not
blast.
said anything. I
You've
feel like-
said, oh my god.
It's
Like
in our
literally
conversation.
it's a conversation, and that's the thing.
you.
It's
Not
a
an
conversation. Apart from now when we were getting to learn about sales and marketing,
yeah,
where you're the one who's sharing most of your
of my
but
understanding.
basically it's just
That's good.
3 people who do not have a lot to do
It's-
at this designated
this-
time. We are so idle.
Thank
we had
you.
to have a podcast and talk about people and
I don't know
about
whether
people's
you've
things.
done. Have you done like like maybe a couple? This one comes and talks. This
No, we
one.
are
Oh.
going to do that with a couple
No,
that
not
you know.
They sit down together.
No, they'll
Like separate.
separately, and then
Oh.
maybe we
Oh,
will have them on set
interesting.
together. Yeah,
That's cool.
we're just waiting for them to land in our country.
Interesting. That is very
But thank you so much, Ruth.
no problem.
Do you want us to do that with you and Anto?
No.
Like,
Yeah, nafikiria.
you know, that
No.
no was too quick.
He would never agree.
He will
to it.
never? Okay.
I know him very well.
Ah.
Do you know the people ask you, oh, after you got married, like what has changed?
What's changed in
Do
our
you know?
marriage?
Nothing. Like it's exactly my life is exactly the way. Like I'm my own person and he's his own person, like that.
That's
And that's how it works.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
so
beautiful.
different.
Wewe
Like,
kuna
the
watu,
change
oh,
mtu.
my
Many
husband.
people they
Oh.
meet me, they're like, I don't get you. Like how you
And
That's
this
how
person,
I'm an individual, you're an individual. That's it.
but maintaining your individuality,
It's very easy to lose yourself. I've had a lot of people say it's very easy
remaining
to
yourself.
lose yourself, especially in marriage.
And I don't know why I didn't say this now when we were doing the podcast. They'll crop it in. But I think another thing you learn is to maintain your individuality in this world is something that, like, being in this world but not being of it. Remaining Tracy Ann, no matter what, in any situation you find yourself, every situation you find yourself, that is what keeps you you. And anything, you get into a place and then you're like, it's not sitting well, it's not, like, it's going against your beliefs, your values,
yeah.
and what. That's why self-awareness is the most important thing you can never have. Like knowing who is Tracy Ann, what does Tracy Ann stand for. Then everything in this world, putting it against that of who am I. Many people fall into this nini because they don't know themselves.
A lot.
But it is self-awareness that led me to quit social media. It's self-awareness that led me to quit the job I had. It's knowing yourself, knowing hapa napotea, and taking action.
Thank you. Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you for
here. Thank you so much
inviting me.
for sharing all of that with us. And I know we're going to see you here again.
I hope
And
so.
I know you are a fan, so I hope.
Yes, I'm a big
And
fan.
I hope I'm rooting for this episode to have more views than
Anton.
the other one.
Yeah, we should
The
actually
other one.
bet.
You should actually bet.
with him.
So,
Yeah, have a
Anton
bet.
sasa iko na 139.
Okay.
Sawa.
So, like this one.
Like,
but,
share, and subscribe. Make Ruth shine.
don't think
also
I'm
they should go and like
30.
the episode 9 pia.
Yeah, also watch episode 9.
Her husband.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it's a
I
family
appreciate-
affair. But thank you so much. Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate
So,
so much. Thank you. I really appreciate. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank
what
you.
you're doing with this podcast. I really hope. I mean, this is the future. This is the present.
Amen.
You know. So continue putting out, such content. Clean. What we would say, clean content.
clean content because it's rare.
It's very rare.
It's very
These
rare.
days,
It's
rare.
very, very
There are many
rare.
things that
You
are
see
rare.
this trend that these people who, like set kama hii, then someone anaongea something that does not make sense, then this crew just wanazima kila kitu wanaishia. You've seen that?
No.
It's so
You
interesting.
should send me all these things you're saying. You should send
Seme,
me.
make kitu to make sense. Asa wafungezi
Wafunga tu,
na waishie.
yeah.
Like msichana sana.
Yeah,
Unasema?
but cancel. I think also
Cancel culture?
culture is
Strict.
yeah. It's
Whoa!
very. Hey.
Oh, just say a thing in the wrong way, and
You
then
even
the
wonder-
wrong ears. Hey,
You even wonder now what-
you and your entire
Even I
lineage.
felt like, hey, maybe people will just cancel me.
No.
They'll be like, no, this chick.
Unaona huyu mwenye anasema hivyo? Kuna sana
Ana
mjanga
cancel.
side eye hivi. Christian
No, listen.
did not just say that.
I do.
But you see-
Wakuja waniabduct kama wataka kuniabduct.
A part of life, like, and I think that's why maybe I like to like observe or read. Like sometimes I would read something that's so contrary, or I'd hear something that's so contrary to what I believe, what I think is true, but I'm like, for the respect of, I just want like to hear a different perspective. I just sit and I listen. And I'm like, interesting. Okay, I don't agree, but I give you that space
To just speak your thoughts.
Correct.
Speak your mind.
Recently, actually, I read, it's called, so there's this psychologist I follow called Esther Perel. No, Esther Perel.
Yeah, I think I know her.
She's a quite renowned relationship
I think I've heard of her.
psychiatrist
of
or
her
something.
somewhere,
So
yeah.
there's a book she wrote. It's called The State of Affairs, Rethinking Infidelity. I read that book. I'm like,
Interesting thought.
this chick makes a lot of sense in this book. But 9 Ways to Sunday, I'd never read
You
that
didn't-
book.
yeah.
But I read
And you'd
it,
never-
and it completely changed my perspective of infidelity and cheating. Like now,
I want to read that
You
book.
need to read that book.
I need to read
Anyone who loves or who is loved should read that book. So interesting. Such an interesting insight into the heart, like the human heart, like wanadamu vile wako. Me, I read that book. I was like, hey, enyewe me, I thought I know things, but hey,
Sijui, kwa kweli
but then
sijui.
I don't. everyone PMC should throw out the books. So anyway, listening to the state of affairs, rethinking infidelity. So it just opens your view on, like, you see the why behind, like you don't see, I don't know how to put it, like it's not just that act or anything.
It's just not infidelity. There's a lot that goes behind
the question, the why. So it's very interesting.
I think when I get that book, I think nitakuwa tu nimeisoma nikiweka kando niko.
Yeah, so some views, even you look at videos like people other parts of the world, Hindus, Buddhists, you're just like, wow, what a way of life.
What a wow.
What
a wow.
Anyway, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see. I don't know. I don't like watching myself after I've done something. You will. But this one, I'll try it.
You'll try. Watch it in bits. The secret is watching it in bits. Watch 10 minutes today, 20 minutes tomorrow.
I don't think I'll watch it.
Really? Don't worry. Others will give you feedback. Some are comments. Some are comments though. And please comment. So thank you so much to our viewers also for watching up until this point. I know you've learned a lot on sales and marketing.
Yes.
I know we've gotten to know about Ruth. Especially the last bit, we've just had a really nice conversation of getting to know her. So yeah, this was fun. This was interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our crew. Atusemangi asanti, atuambiagi asanti. Kazi yenu haiendagi bure wenye wanatengenezanga thumbnails, our editor, our director. Thank you so much to everyone who supports this podcast wenye wako tu hapa. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you Tony, thank you Sam, thank you Mike. Thank you Larry. Larry anakuanga tu Larry ako kila mahali. Also to our producer, thank you so much. Thank you again. I hope you've subscribed. So let's meet again on the next episodes and on other shows under BTP Studios.
I like the movie critic.
You like? Really?
Very well.
Mukona fan.
Shout out
TFC wakona fan.
I'm a big fan. Awesome. And I've suggested a movie that they can review. Because I think it was...
Or the cray, whatever.
Really damage
it
to
was
you.
The worst.
The what? What did you call it?
In my life.
What did you call it before we wrap up?
I mean, be sued by...
Okay, sorry. Okay. You tunaambia behind the scene.
Oh. It was bad at being... It was good at
being bad.
Production team. Oh God.
It was...
Thank you so much to our viewers.
It's so interesting because I was reading reviews on it. That movie actually got more press because of how bad it was. More people watched, like...
Just to see how bad it is.
Yeah, because it was that
I don't want to be that good at being bad.
And it made, you see the next movie that they are making, I don't want to say who it is, they went back to the drawing board and redid the movie just the way you're in ilibashiwa. They're in the middle of producing another one. They went back to the
They had to go back
to make sure it's good.
It's okay. Oh no.
That's how bad.
No. That was so bad.
Like, I think it got, is it 1% on Rotten Tomatoes?
1% Rotten Tomatoes.
It's a big company. Like, think about like Marvel or Warner Bros. Or like, it's big.
TFC have a loyal fan, and I know they're not going to do boring movies.
Very good.
Awesome.
I like that show. And the three gentlemen who sing with nice voices and guitar. Shout out Steve Ben. Very good job.
Awesome.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome.
Guys. And when you become famous and big, don't chop out our episodes. Episode 500 uko things are just flying, and then you've chopped one. In the first 30 episodes look so boring.
No, we're not doing that. I think to delete the first 10, and unfortunately anyway, bye guys. Thank you.